Tonight's meeting of Greenville City Council. Nice to have you with us. Please rise for invocation by Council Member Dworkin. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much.
Dear most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you humbled today with the responsibility of leading this community, but also a blessing to lead this community. Please provide us guidance and wisdom, and also please. This is the holiday season, which is full of joy, but there are plenty of people out there who need extra love from you. So with that, in your son's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember John DeWorke.
Here.
Councilmember Lillian Fleming. Councilmember Ken Gibson.
Here.
Councilmember Will Bracington, and I believe he'll be joining us shortly, Mayor.
Coming in.
Okay. Councilmember Russell Stahl. Councilmember Dorothy Dow. Here. Mayor Knox White.
Here. You have the minutes of November 11th, which will stand approved as submitted unless there are any objections. We have a few folks who signed up to speak to us. Please be mindful of the 3-minute clock. Carmen Pendergrass. Hi.
And please state your residency for the record.
All right. Good evening. My name is Carmen Sade Pendergrass. I reside in Greenwood, South Carolina now. A month ago, I lived at the McLaren here in Greenville at 104 Warlaw Street. When I first arrived on September 23rd, I was unable to share greater detail of my experiences, but I have an opportunity to do so now. And I would like to. I hope that my experiences being heard today will help change the lives of someone else if they're ever in need. I am a big supporter of the Greenlink transit system. It helped save my life when I had to transition from living in Simpsonville, South Carolina, to being able to move closer to my employer. I used to work for Verizon, and during the pandemic, working for Verizon, being able to work from home served me greatly. While on FMLA, I was released from Verizon. I needed more time to heal, and I was able to sustain myself, but eventually it came up that I needed to find something else in order to keep moving forward. I wasn't able to work from home anymore. I had to go out and find employment, and I found employment along Wade Hampton through Concentrix. Unfortunately, I was not going to be able to make my rent payment and other necessities if I didn't move closer to my job. So commuting and going back and forth, that typically cost me anywhere from $500 to $600, if not more a month, if I relied on Uber, if I relied on Lyft. Being able to live closer to town meant that I would have access to the Greenlink transit system. And that served me greatly. When I moved to the Dr. Edward E. McLaren development, the new development that has been with us for at least 2 years, I believe, it did so much for me. Having access to that transit system, it was a 14-minute walk. I did have to get up to go to work earlier. I did end up getting home later because of the commute, but it served me. And so my experience taking the Greenlink transit system, it showed me that there are a lot of areas that still need that access as well. Not everyone can afford to live downtown. I was lucky enough because I was in the affordable housing program. I never lived in it before. Coming to find out about Dr. Edward E. McLaren and finding out what his legacy was as a Black doctor that served his community in the 40s and 50s, that also added a lot of empowerment to who I wanted to become. I wanted to be able to serve my community and serve others who may not feel like they have a voice. The issue with development in certain areas is it's one thing when you want to improve an area. It's another thing when somebody does not care about you as property management. I had never had an issue with McLaren's property management up until July. I encountered harassment from the property manager, Mr. Sylvain Nzeli, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. His antics cost me my home. I am no newcomer to what it means to overcome struggle. I ran into an issue financially that took out $700 monthly, an old school bill that came up, and I had a levy impacted against me. And I saw $700 of my funds removed. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know. We're very compelling story, though. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Do I need to just arrive at the next event? The next meeting, I thought I had 3 minutes, so do I need to just come to the next time to finish explaining?
I'll give you 1 minute.
Okay, what I wanted to say is I'm going through the process of having to sue Lighthouse Living because Mr. Sylvain practiced harassment against me. At first, I felt overwhelmed and I felt like I needed to be quiet and just do this in silence, but somebody else could be going through the same issue. He manipulated a contract. I have evidence of that.
Okay.
And
Let me cut you off. We don't want to get into public forum, a dispute like that, but thank you for your comments.
I understand.
You can talk to our staff though afterwards.
And Mayor Knox, one last thing I just wanted to add, something that was quoted by you, that you said that it takes more than money to help take care of people. It takes more than money to help with Greenville. I just really hope that with the members here, that you'll keep that in mind whenever you want to bring someone to town, especially to Black neighborhoods. You can progress, you can move forward and see profit. It just depends on the way that you do it. It depends on if you care about the people that you have here. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Joe Farmer? Let Mr. Councilman Brazington get his speaker here. Okay. All right.
Good evening, Joe Farmer, 207 Alpine Way. November 24th, the Board of Zoning Appeals met. 5 members were present. The application at hand was not supported by staff, triggering a 2/3 vote by the board for approval. We all saw this last year, and I thought it was a good idea. Problem is, what is 2/3? Well, it's 66%. But what is 2/3 of 5? It's 3.3. So the question is 3.3 3 votes or 4 votes? What occurred was a motion to deny the application was made. It failed by a vote of 2 to 3. A motion to approve the vote was made. It failed by a vote of 3 to 2. A recess was called to discuss with staff and legal counsel, and the decision was made, no decision. So let me propose the solution. The solution, rather than having a 2/3 vote, we have a graph for all boards, which would state something like if there are 7 members on the board, 5 are needed to pass. If there are 6, then it would require 4, 5 would require 4, 4 would require 3, and 3 would require 2. It would just specifically spell out what your wishes are, rather than simply relying on should we round up or down. Secondarily, I propose that council should instruct all boards to make motions in the affirmative, so that if a motion fails, it will be presumed a denial. Part of what got us into this, it would prevent motions of denial from being made to put applications in limbo. Now, lastly, a large part of what got us into the board into this no decision was 2 absences. The newest member you appointed last month was absent. Nothing like missing your first day on the job. Perhaps no one applied that could attend the meetings, but council needs to vet applications, as this attendance is extremely important, since council cannot override the Board of Zoning Appeals decisions. Please give this consideration and give specifics to these boards, because this would apply to each and every one of those boards when they're presented with this opportunity, and give them clear direction so we didn't know. Because really what happened, if the first vote would not have been for denial, we wouldn't have been in a situation where no decision occurred. So if we do them by all affirmative votes, I think we could resolve it, but the graph would greatly help out these boards. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. All right, thank you. Mr. Thornton?
Good evening. Mr. Clarence Thornton, Greenville, South Carolina, 114 Dartford Street. I called Channel 4, asked what he was talking about our centers, because I know it was on the news. And they stated that one of the facilities was inhabitable. This is bad that one of our recreation centers in the city of Greenville are inhabitable. They also told me that they need to be revitalized. This is also vital and important to our communities, that every community have a quality recreation center. Communities should not get a failing grade because of poor leadership. Our centers should not be looking like that. The city, I hope, will redeem itself by providing centers that represent all. One thing I should say about Greenville is the citizens love their recreation. They love their parks, they love their centers, and they love their trails. And every neighborhood should have a center that they're proud of. And every neighborhood should have a recreation center that looks the part. One of the other things that I know that our recreation centers are very important because they're not just recreation. Some children need to get an education because some don't have internet at home. One other reason I want to talk about recreation centers, Max Heller, the great Max Heller, was mayorship when some of these centers was here. And it would be an honor for us in this city of Greenville to honor him and build quality recreation centers. Max Heller said, give it back to the poor. Max Heller said, look at statues, look at the writings. He said some very great things. He don't want to be the richest man in the grave. So Max Heller always gave back, and we need to give. We talk about being grateful in Greenville. Let us be thankful for all the commitment. And in the last 52 seconds, I don't know if anybody know about the Greenville 8. We're gonna have an opportunity to read and go to the Greenville County Library or the Greenville Library. One of their representatives, Miss Marguerite C. Wright Craw, she passed away. And it's a shame that we have nothing really in their honor. Nothing. Education. You see, everybody else honored her, but what did Greenville do? So Greenville, we need to improve on our civil rights and our history on civil rights. Because we had our same problem, like every other state, but we just got to recognize, and like I said, power comes from education. Thank you so very, very much, and God bless each and every one. Hope y'all have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Mr. Sam Davis? Mr. Sam Davis? Nope. Okay. All righty. Proceeding now with our agenda. We have a presentation up front. I see Mr. Finney out there. Oh, okay, you're gonna introduce.
I will. So we have Larry Finney here with us tonight, who is the audit partner with Green Finney Colley.
All right. Thanks, Patricia.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city manager. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but we're here to present the results from the audit for the year ended June 30th, 2024. Two things. One, talk a little bit about the financial condition of the city at year end, and then also talk about kind of where we're at with the audit and getting things wrapped up. So next slide, please. So I think most of you know that if you're going to look at one measurement to see how the city's doing, you're going to look at general fund balance. So you can see the results. Total fund balance is a little over 36 million. It increased about 2.5 million before we apply the fund balance policy related to capital projects and the district dividends. After all those transfers, it went down a little over 3 million. But what you budgeted was actually a decrease of almost $10 million as far as your 24 budget. So good results compared to what you budgeted. I like to remind you, the unassigned fund balance, just to remind you, that's the amount of fund balance you have sitting in general fund that basically is available for future operations. It's not restricted. It's not tied up in any way. And you can see that fund balance is in the 20 to 25% range when you look at your expenditures for the year and your transfers out. Next slide. So to remind you, you have a city policy to have an unassigned fund balance in your general fund of at least 20%. That would be about 26.9 million. So the excess above that, then your policy states that 80% of it gets transferred to capital projects to a reserve, which is 4.6 million. And then above that 80%, then up to $1 million goes to the specific council districts. And so 1 million was transferred for the 24 year end. Next slide. How did we get there? What did the year look like? You can see the general fund revenues were about 112 million, or almost 8 million over what you budgeted, about 7%. And the next slide, on the expenditure side, you can see your expenditures about 107 million, 8.5 million under budget, or about 7%. So that, that's really hopefully a goal. If you've done a good job, right, of conservatively, reasonably conservative budgeting, you're going to end up with revenues higher, expenditures a little bit lower, and that's why you ended up with the results for this year. Next slide. The other two probably more significant governmental funds that you have are your capital projects fund. You can see there's about 96 million sitting in that fund balance, and most of that has been set aside for specific projects. And then your hospitality taxes, almost $7 million. And I think all of you probably know that all of your hospitality tax revenues are set aside specifically for tourism-related expenditures. Next slide. So talk a little bit about the audit. We're still wrapping it up, working on the drafts of the financial statements right now. So you may ask, well, why are you here instead of coming December 9th, Larry? And I already had another commitment on December 9th, and I wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to come and talk to you as soon as we felt good about the results for the year. But I will say, once you do receive the final financial statements, I'll be glad to come back at another meeting if you've got questions and we just need to talk about some things. So I'd be glad to do that. Next slide. So we have two pieces to our audit. We have the regular financial audit that we do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we also do what's called a single audit. And basically what the single audit represents is, because the city receives a significant amount of federal funds every year, we're typically looking at one or two programs every year to say, how's the city doing in terms of complying with the requirements for those programs? This year, that program was CDBG. We did have a couple findings related to the financial reporting on the CDBG program. But I will say, number one, they've already been addressed. And I at this point, I want to give a shout out to Patricia, because I don't think I've ever had somebody who has as efficiently and effectively as she did when I brought the issues to her attention, that they were addressed and taken care of. And so I really appreciate that. They will be findings in the financial statements, but they've already been addressed going forward. So I really appreciate that. Next slide. So as far as our regular financial audit's concerned, the end result of what we do is the opinion that we issue. And so the city will receive, when we issue the financial statements, the city will receive an unmodified opinion. And I know that doesn't mean anything to anybody, but the best way to say it is that's the best opinion that you can receive. So no matter who you are, private organization, local government, your goal is to receive that unmodified opinion. So that's a great place for me to stop and recognize not only Patricia, but also Karen and James. Is anybody else here? from the finance staff. So Karen and James and their staff do a great job. And I will tell you, especially with a local government the size of Greenville, when you start talking about preparing for an audit, it's on top of the day-to-day what they're doing, and it takes a lot of work. You all know all the different projects and the different things you have going on, and so it's a lot of extra work. So thank you, Karen and James. Good job. Next slide. This is kind of the highlights. You got that opinion that you want to receive, the unmodified opinion. Your financial condition is good and healthy at year end. You're continuing to receive those awards from the Government Finance Officers Association. Great recognition there. And again, we appreciate all the help of all the city staff, but especially the OMB staff. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has. And obviously, I'll come back at a later date too, if I need to.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. 10A, do we have a? You have a recommendation? Name?
But I'll announce it. Mayor, this is an opportunity to, first of all, recognize Matt Good, who has been serving on the Greenville Housing Fund for his service, which began in 2020, and he is now completing his second and final term on GHF.
That's what it is.
And then we have the motion needed for the recommended appointment.
Uh-huh.
And that appointment is Drew Bowen to serve a full 2-year term beginning January 1st of 2025 and ending December 31st of 2026.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk call the roll. Clerk will call that.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow. Aye. Mayor White.
Aye. Regular agenda items, 14A, second and final reading.
An ordinance to annex approximately 1.57 acres of real property and 0.28 acres of adjacent right-of-way located on Guest Street, Street, and Seth Street, and to provide the zoning designation of RNC.
Second. Sorry, Mary Douglas, you want to put this up?
Sure. Mayor and council, this is another look at this annexation and rezoning. You've seen this before, and we have since met with the developer and Councilmember Dow as well. And everyone's comfortable with, there are 6 parcels, and looking at the 3 on the right would be RNC, the 3 stories, and then RNA would be the left 3 parcels, 2.5 stories. So it would transition down as it goes into the neighborhood.
Okay, you're 2.5, 2.5 though.
2.5.
Okay.
that's.
But RNC is 3,
RNC is 3.
Okay.
and the neighborhood association says what?
So this is the property
That's
that
outside
it
the
abuts
city.
the county.
Oh, that's.
So-
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just more of a lower density allowance for the parcels that are
oh, yeah.
directly adjacent to the,
If that works for them.
to
that's-
the neighborhood. I mean, them is county. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a neighborhood
Yeah.
association. We need I've got a motion to
Okay.
amend it.
Okay, but this is what we're looking at, amending RNA.
Right, so it was all RNC,
Yeah.
and the amendment will take care of those 3 parcels
I
going to
think-
RNA.
Yeah, okay, I think
Okay.
it's fine.
Right.
Good.
All in favor of the change, say aye.
Do I
Say
need
aye.
to say the amendment?
I second it. Change that, although I second the first motion.
If you could please state the 3 parcels on the record,
Okay.
please.
So I move that we amend AX 26/2024 to rezone the subject properties western 3 parcels. Tax map TMS numbers ending in 300, 600, and 1300 to RNA Neighborhood A District while retaining the RNC Neighborhood C District request for the 3 eastern parcels.
Okay, may I have a second on that? And clerk will call the roll on that. We'll go ahead and call the roll.
Okay. All right, so this is the motion to amend. Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. Okay, the ordinance is amended. You have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Okay, motion as amended. Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15A, first reading.
An ordinance to annex approximately 2.89 acres of real property and 0.70 acre of adjacent right-of-way located on Easley Bridge Road and to provide the zoning designation of IX Industrial Flex District.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming. Councilmember Gibson. Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15B,
An ordinance to annex approximately 0.20 acre of real property and 0.08 acre of adjacent right-of-way located at 4646 Orr Street and to provide the zoning designation of RHC.
So moved.
Second.
motion second.
Could you
Clerk,
show the diagram again? Which ones?
Councilmember Fleming, this is a single-family house
Okay.
directly
Across the street from those 6 parcels that we just talked
Okay,
about.
across the street.
yeah, across the street.
and currently in the county.
Okay.
Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson. Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15C,
An ordinance to annex approximately 0.41 acre of real property located at 17 Prosperity Court and to provide the zoning designation of RHC.
Second.
motion second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson. Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. Okay, 15E,
15D,
D.
yes, sir. An ordinance to rezone approximately 62.3 acres of real property located at 402 Roper Mountain Road from PD Planned Development District to CM Campus District.
So moved.
Second.
motion second. Roper Mountain Road,
That's correct, Mayor White. This is the Roper Mountain Science Center
Yeah.
and bringing it out of our old planned development
Right.
into the new campus district.
yeah. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15E,
An ordinance to rezone approximately 6.7 acres of real property located at 301 East Camperdown Way from RC3 Community 3 District to CV City District and remove a portion of the property from the Downtown Design Overlay District.
So moved. Second.
Second.
motion second.
All right,
You want, any comments you want to make on that?
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Any,
Okay, Mayor and Council, this is property owned by the Greenville County School District. Inadvertently, we included those parcels on the left-hand side in our downtown overlay during the 2023 rezoning. And this is to clean that up, so all of their parcels would not be in the downtown design overlay, but they would all be zoned civic, which is appropriate for school properties.
Amen.
okay, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson. Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl. Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. 15F,
An ordinance providing a one-time cost of living adjustment for persons currently receiving benefits under the firefighters pension fund.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Chief, you want to comment on that? You go ahead.
I can't
Way up here, I think you should have a chance.
Mayor, members of council, as you're aware, our pension fund is separate, and the only time that our retirees can get a cost of living raise, the board has to vote on that based on our financial situation. We got a good actual return back from actuaries, our investors, and based on that, we looked at what we can do for our retirees based on the COLA, and that was recommended up to the 2.5% raise for them.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. Thank you. And resolution 16A.
A resolution to approve a municipal state highway agreement between the South Carolina Department of Transportation and the City of Greenville for emergency bridge replacement work on South Hudson Street and West Washington Street.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, can I make a statement?
Yeah,
before-
please do. Yeah. We're-
We have a large number of parents, because that bridge is closed, and I know it has to do with the state. Is there any way we can make sure that the state has a meeting with the parents? They are just up in arms, I guess, because they have to travel differently in order to take their child to school. And it wasn't something they were planning, but Helene came by, and I said that to them, but they, well, why we, anyway, I'm not a bridge person. So if somebody could get the State Department to please have a meeting with the parents about their children going to school and why we are not the ones they need to talk to, et cetera. So I meet them at community meetings. So I just want
Yeah.
to thank you so much, Brandon.
Imagine that,
Take
thinking
care.
the city's always the one, do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's a state bridge, not a city bridge.
I said that, but
Yeah.
they didn't believe me.
Sounds like a signage issue more than anything else, maybe,
Yeah.
State DOT bridge or something like that. I've had people ask the same questions, so I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, we're all in favor of repairing it as soon as possible, so we'll do our job. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Okay. Ms. Manager, do you want to talk about a few more things? Okay.
So welcome Sarah Baker, who is our new assistant city manager. I'm gonna try to sit up front.
Well, she was trying to sit in the back.
The seat right over here.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
That's to check on Brandon. We don't know what he's up, what he's looking, make sure you look at the right stuff. Okay. Yeah. Keep an eye on him now.
Also, I would just like again to thank Patricia, Karen, and James from our O&B department because that audit work is intense, it is significant, and it is on top of everything that they do all year for us. And we are in a very strong financial position, and we owe a lot of that to our O&B team. So thank you very much. Debris hauling, as you all know, we have a new debris website. As of today, we had hauled 370,612 cubic yards of vegetative waste at 6,740 loads. That's only our contractor. That doesn't include all the work that our public works team has done also. So as you know, we are working hot spots right now. We finished second pass last week. We are working hot spots throughout the city through Wednesday. We will take a break from Thursday and through Sunday, December the 8th. On Monday, December 9th, we start final pass. So for anyone who's listening, for any constituents, we will make sure, we've been trying to get the word out, but final pass starts December 9th, which means if you have any debris that still needs to be hauled away, please make sure that it's at the curb. This is for residential properties, not commercial properties, but for residential properties. Please make sure that it's at the curb by December 9th, Monday, December 9th. We will start picking that up 7 a.m. Monday, December 9th. Okay. All right. We have a lot of holiday happenings that just started today with Ice on Main opening. I would encourage everyone to continue to look at the calendar. Next weekend is a full weekend of holiday happenings. And we've also been named the top Christmas city by several publications within the last week. So we're in the top 5 Christmas cities throughout the entire country. And then finally, I would like to show a video tonight on the new Nicholtown connector that was just completed. It was a really great video, and I think that it's something that warrants our attention here at City Council. So we are ready to roll. Another example of of the city putting public-private partnerships to work. And we worked closely with UGATA and the neighborhood on this connector, and I think it turned out really nice and
Yeah.
just a great way to highlight, I think, something positive going into a week of Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
thank you for allowing us a moment to share that this evening. And with that, I have nothing else to report.
Okay, you build it, they will come.
Right.
They always do, okay? But you have,
I do, Mr. Mayor. Either Counselor Dow or I was going to say something, but we take our boards and commissions incredibly seriously at this. This body does, and we certainly do with our group as well. Our latest BZA appointment gave us advance notice that upon appointment, he had prearranged a vacation that he and his family were going to be on, and we said that was fine. So for the benefit of this body, I just wanted to let everybody know that our most recent BZA appointment did notify us that he was going to be.
And John, also, can't you clarify, I thought, because we talked about this on this, when we passed the 2/3 rule, how that would weigh out in terms of a partial person, and you had some words of wisdom from your.
No, I did, and what I did when we adopted that policy, I literally made phone calls to the state governing body of such things, and with consultation with our legal counsel, that when you do a 2/3, everyone is quite aware that when it does come, as was mentioned earlier, to let's say 3.5, but we actually had one where there was a calculation where it would come out to 4.0, you needed 4.05 votes, which means you need 5 votes. You need at least 4.05 votes. And if you got 4, that doesn't cut it. You got to get 1 above. So we got clarification when we.
All been established already,
Yeah.
is the point.
all right, thank you very much, thank you.
Thank you.